And always a pleasure to talk to our buddy Todd Furniss, author of the just-released book, The 60% Solution, Rethinking Healthcare. And Todd, understand that vaccine skepticism was viewed as a knowledge problem, and now they say it's just actually gut beliefs. And believe me, we have a lot of anti-vaccine listeners and people that do see them online all the time.
Well, thanks for having me, Bill. Good to be with you again.
Yes, sir. So so there are some people who just they're not going to get it no matter what. Others are still rather nervous.
Well, I think you got two things to look at. First of all, you've got increasingly a distrust of leaders. You got to remember back in the day, a lifetime ago, called 2020, we were going to quote flatten the curve to allow hospitals to prepare for the influx of patients.
Uh-huh.
And then in March of 2020, we said there's no need to wear masks. And then all of a sudden we got to wear masks and we got to stay at least 6 feet apart. And then it became 3 feet apart, but nobody's changed any of the signs. So that means the local establishments get to decide, in addition to Dr. Fauci and others.
Mm.
So now it's a question of who's in charge, and then you got to wear a mask, but you still have to wear you got to get the vaccine, but you still have to wear a mask. Then you got to get the vaccine, but you don't have to wear a mask outside. And then Vice President Harris says when she's running for office that she's not going to get the vaccine if Donald Trump recommends it. And then now where we are here is that the vaccines that are available are, in fact, the ones that not only Donald Trump recommended, but he helped get delivered.
Right.
So there are a lot of confusing messages out there. And there's another really, really big issue that folks aren't talking about. And this is complicated, but it's really at the heart of our nation, which is at what point do the rights of the individual become secondary to the rights of the collective? So we built our country saying individual rights are primary. But now we're saying is, hey, yeah, those rights are primary, but only up to the point where what you do could adversely affect me. So if you have if you have the disease, COVID, then you could infect me. Well, that's always been the case with all sorts of stuff. If you drive when you're drinking alcohol, then that can be effective. If you smoke cigarettes, there's secondary smoke around, but nobody stopped the tobacco industry. So there are questions around where the line is drawn for individual rights and individual behaviors versus the collective. And I think that's what we're struggling with. That's the gut question underneath of it all.
Boy, that's a lot to unpack. Todd Furniss with us, author of the just-released book, The 60% Solution, Rethinking Healthcare, and gut beliefs of whether or not this, for example, I think one of the things that we're worried about, Todd, is this so-called vaccine passport or whatever you want to call it, that you suddenly, to get in some venues or to get certain treatment or anything, you have to have this or get on an airplane, you have to have this pass or whatever that says you have been vaccinated. I think that's extremely dangerous.
Well, I agree with you. And, Bill, I applaud the fact that you make your listeners, really think hard about certain issues every day, and I appreciate the opportunity to kind of speak into some of those issues. But what you're referring to now is not only would you have to get the vaccine, but also you have to show or prove that you've had the vaccine, which inspires distrust amongst citizens between each other. But further to the point, requires that you disclose information, which is personal health care information, which ought to be protected under HIPAA, which is the Patient Privacy Act. And it's unclear as to me whether or not that would even stand up in court.
I would hope it wouldn't. Otherwise, we talk about these HIPAA laws and how private your medical conditions and your medical treatment ought to be, and now we say, well, you've got to have this so-called you maybe see your papers, please, to get in a concert or something, or get on a plane.
Right, and I think that's a very, very risky path to go down.
I do too. Todd, I appreciate your time. Thank you for this. Tell me about we're heavily into shameless self-promotion. Tell us about the book and where we can get it and how to get more information.
Well, the book's available at Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com, so I encourage everybody to go out and grab a copy because it really helps every single person become an activist in reducing the cost of healthcare and improving the quality of your own healthcare.
Very good. Todd, thanks so much. Appreciate it, pal.
Thank you, Bill.
Yes, sir.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, take care. All right, Todd Furniss, and it's like a heater, except it's spelled Furniss. Todd, Furniss, author of the just-released book, The 60% Solution, Rethinking Healthcare.